Right, different video. This is going to be a video of responses that I think us as tradesmen should use. So what it was, long story short, I was on Facebook a couple of months ago, and one of the Electricians forums on there, and a guy had quoted to do a rewire and had a handful of questions. And I mean, there was a lot of questions back from a potential new customer. And I can see it from 2 points of view. You look at that from a tradesman point of view, looking at these questions, there were so many comments from the guy saying, walk away, can't be arsed, too much hassle, too many questions, sounds like a nightmare customer. But then again, I swing to my other half and she was like, to be fair, it's always good, and I've tried to take this into account with my life in general, always look at both points of view. So this customer was going to spend, I think it was £4,500 of what it was on a rewire. And if a lot of information isn't portrayed across a quote, which I'm more than guilty for over the years, and even still now, from this video, the way I do stuff on my Tradify app through quotes and invoices is going to change and going to improve. 1 second. Sorry about that. Phone's on silent. So yeah, so I get it from the other point of view, where a customer is going to spend £4,000 or £5,000, which is a lot of people, including myself. That is a lot of money, and some people save up for years to be able to afford a rewire or a new central heating system. So you can see why some people are asking a lot of questions, and if we're not giving them enough information to start with through our invoices or quotes, these questions are going to occur. And as a tradesman point of view, like I said, a lot of us would go, too much hassle, asking too many questions, not interested. But if we'd have sent the right information to start with, then these questions would have been sorted and the customer would have known exactly what's going on. So hence why now I'm going to change the stuff I do. The app that I use, Tradify, sponsor the video, but we'll get to that later, it's going to change. It is going to change, so to help the customer and myself. So a lot of the questions are already answered, and to help make our life a little bit easier. So I'm going to read out a few of the questions to start with. So the first question is, I'll put it on the screen, would I need a new consumer unit, or could something be done with the one I have as it's relatively new? So what we would say to that is, if you're having a full rewire, we would have to bring everything to accordance with the regulation. So it would have to have a metal fuse board fitted, potentially with SPD if we've done our calculations. The ones I would fit, I always write down, we have an RCBO one. Prices may vary if we want to do a split load one, but I don't offer that at all. It's really an RCBO one. I'm looking forward to Amendment 2 or to the next reg change where it's going to be in there. So I always say we're just going to future-proof it a little bit. This will then be in effect for a long, long period of time. So your board will be up to scratch, hopefully till the next regulation as well. On to question 2. So a lot of this, what we would do in what I'm going to change in my Tradify. So when I send a quote, we write down exactly like what we're going to do. So it'll be 4 USB double sockets in bedroom 1, light and pendant. This is the brand we're using, that sort of stuff. But afterwards, in the notes or at the bottom of the description, this is where we would start writing. And I'm going to write some bullet points out for the customer. So what I do normally, this is to do with chasing walls and everything, is, I think there's another question on this a little bit later on, but what do you do about filling the chases? But this is the question that the customers wrote. Could I assume all the wires will be chased in the holes filled to a smooth finish? So what we'd write in our description is all cables will be chasing the wall, whether or not you were going to plaster them or you're going to get another plaster in. But we would write in there, like I do currently, all making good to be made to do with customer with their own plasterer. I make that very clear. Occasionally, recently, a lot of rewires I've done, I've actually bought a bag of Bundy and just done like first fix in there, so people can't be getting their fingers on the top of sockets if it's been not decorated for a long time or plastered. But it's just helping yourself out and them out, just clearing this up. So, but also to a smooth finish. What I've written down in my notes in preparation for this video is, what we could say is, I don't do that, or I will put first bonding coat on and I can recommend you a good plasterer that we use that would do this job for you. So this is actually a really good question about cookers. So would the 32 amp supply to a cooker be inadequate for a wide range of other cookers when it can be changed, or can come to changing it? So the thing is as well with this customer, I can see they have a knowledge of the electrical industry or of the trades, hence why a lot of these questions are coming on, which I actually think is really good. What we would normally do is, most cookers in a domestic situation would be maximum 32 amps. There is a rare occasion where they are more, but we would also check for specs, sizes, whether or not you think a bigger one's going in. But if you do think another bigger one's going in, you could quote separately and say, well, here's a 10mm cable, this cost is going to be this different. Or if there's a hob, we could supply 2 6mm cables, one as a feed and then one as a supply. So the feed one will be cut off at board and source, but it's there for any new installations for a new electric hob or stuff like that. So we can branch out, but try and give 2 different options and look at the future, what could potentially change, and let the customer be aware of this. A lot of the cases, like 32 amp would be absolutely fine, 6mm cable, but the customer is correct. If you ever want to change it, I do write down, I can give you a quote for another 6mm or upgrade it to a 10mm to allow you for swapping out in the future. So the next one, the customer's literally written, would all the lights be earthed? And so to us, you and me as the tradesman, as electrician, this is basic knowledge that with a rewire you would earth all the lights, but that might not become common knowledge to the customers or the people that are employing us to do it. So what I would happily write down now to cover this is why we're doing the rewire and what is involved as a brief description. All old cables cut off, sometimes all removed if possible, where it allows us to, without spending more time picking floorboards up we don't need to and carpets. But we're rewiring the property with all new cables and these size cables, and also all outlets will be earthed. We can put that on there. Peace of mind, this question will then be avoided in the future, but on a basis we all know that will be the common principle to do throughout a brand new rewire, but put it in the description, that'd help a little bit. The next one, could you show me your public liability in case something went wrong? So this is actually a really good one. I've never thought about this. We all should have public liability up to 2-4 million. I can't remember what mine is. Mine's with Rhino Trade Insurance, Bundy 10 for discount anyway. But just to put it at the bottom, you know, your public liability, either who it's with and what it's up to. And I've never thought, but I'm going to start doing that from now on because I think it's actually a cool little feature, to be honest. So the next one, could you promise to return to the property to do further work at no extra costs should any problems occur after the rewire? So this is also a good one with your guarantee and your warranty with your work. Mine normally, I mean, I don't write on there what guarantee is it with it. And I mean, I've had jobs ringing me up, which I have a massive problem with these, yes, electrical lights, these Luxner ones. I fitted hundreds and hundreds of these downlights and such a massive percentage have failed. And I've ended up going back to the customer and saying, just pay for the new lights, I'll switch them out for free. Some of this is 5 years ago, but I've had it so much recently, not so much right now, but I would say the past 6 months. It was one job a week going and changing these over. But if I'd have written on the invoice of the quote, a clause, you know, after a year, after 2 years of this, there will be a fee to come and change it out. We will look at manufacturers' guarantees on the products and switch them out with them, because most of the stuff we buy, we have a record at our wholesaler where we got it from and what's the date purchase. So a guarantee on the work, whether it's 1 or 2 years on fixtures and like with actual cabling, sorry, and then fixtures and fittings on top. But that is now going on what I'm going to do from now on. I'll have a guarantee on some work, and the fixtures and fittings will be differently. If there's, let's say, a lamp to break down, we'll just have a call out charge. If it's after our 2 years period, but if it's within the 2 year period, if the light can get changed over with the guarantee, the label will be free. So the next one, are there any potential additional costs to consider that would incur during the work? So this is always a big, we don't know. It is a don't know. When we go in and quote, we're walking around your house, we're going through, the floorboards are down, the carpets are down, we can stick our head in the loft, but we can't guarantee that everything is going to be clean, you know, smooth sailing, that's the word, smooth sailing. But we can write on our quotes and not our invoice, we can write in our quotes, you know, unforeseen circumstances. So let's say you wanted to put down 5 days to this rewire. We've got our wall chaser. I know on a good brick wall, I can do a chase from floor to ceiling within about a minute. No problem at all. The last rewire I was on, the walls were so hard, it took me nearly 10 minutes per chase to go up. And from chasing out a double socket, it could have taken normally a nice red brick, I don't know, 3-4 minutes to get a really clean, nice, smooth edge. Hoovered up, no problem at all. These sockets were taking 20-25 minutes per socket. So the time delay is massive. I can't quote for that. Didn't charge the customer anymore. We just sucked it up, got on with it, spent another 2 hours on one day doing what we need to do. But we can incur on there. So what I would say and suggest, and what I'm going to write from now on, is any additional stuff, we speak to the customer about it, we quote it separately, we wait till that quote has been accepted and all signed off, and then we can complete the work. If stuff can be get around, so let's say we can't do one of the sockets downstairs because of the wall, or there's a pipe or something in the wall, we just wouldn't do that. We would knock it off the price, and then the the customer will be notified and that sort of thing. But it's very difficult to say on here on a quote of additional costs if things occur. We just don't know. So it's a bit of a tricky one. If anyone knows what else to write there, let me know below, because I'll be interested. This is one I get asked quite a lot. Will the carpets go back down properly? So with the carpets, I've always said, when we go, if it's a newer carpet, 99% of the time it should go back, no problem at all, like we've never been there. I would say any carpets probably over 10 years old, they've lost their stretch, they lack elasticity. Yeah, we'll go with that. They never go back down the same. There's always a wrinkle. We actually have carpet kickers, and I can't remember where I've put it. It's in here somewhere, that help us, but we're not carpet fitters. I've never been taught how to put a carpet down or to reattach it. You just pick it up as you go in. But once again, we can put down on the quotation the potential risks of the carpet, the age and whatnot. If not, put down there recommended carpet fitter who will literally just come around, kick your carpets back in for you, and it should be a lot cheaper than having to replace the carpets. So the next one, would you supply dust sheets to keep the mess down to a minimum? So this is a really good one as well. I know I probably said they're all really good ones, but it's worth noting because I never write down on anywhere about the cleanliness or what we're going to do. But you can see from the videos, we always put carpet protection down. We have polythene sheets that go over beds, over sofas, all that sort of stuff. We hoover every day throughout the day, and at the end of the day especially, go on with a proper floor cleaner, clean all the dust up, get as much debris out as possible. We have dust extractors, we've got the big hoovers. We go around, we try and make it as and when we turned up, obviously with just a new chase in the wall or a new socket in place. But it is worth noting on a quote that we have all this equipment and this will be covered and this will be protected, because we don't want to be landed with a bill, or the customer not happy because there's a big orange dust print on their nice white carpet where we've let the brick dust to hit the floor. So it is worth noting. It might be the difference between you winning the job or the next guy, if he's got that written down in the quote, the customer knowing that the house is going to be tipped upside down and left that way. And on top of it as well, I have said in a few videos back that when we do quote sometimes, I've also asked the customers if they want me to get a cleaner quotation put on as well. I'll happily include a cleaner on the quote. So once the job's finished, let's say on the last day, the last half the day when we're moving our stuff back to the van, a cleaners can turn up, make everything spotless. A lot of the time this is because when customers move out for us to do a rewire, so they can come back nice and fresh, the electric's been done, we've put a bit of bonding in the wall, the cleaner's gone round, and we can do the best job we can, Adam and I, at hoovering, dusting and whatnot, but we're not cleaners. Like, we can see, as men, we look at the dust on the side and go, oh, right, there we go, but you don't think of the bigger picture. I wish I could see it more, but getting a cleaner in, that it's their job and they know professionally they can do a really good job. Maybe it's something worth noting down and offering to your customers. Next one, would an electricity supply and lighting always be available with the use of extension leads? So I actually do write this down. So if there's anyone actually working from home, this isn't just to do with a rewire, this is in general. If people are working from home, which happened quite a lot obviously since COVID, we have a massive power bank which is actually charging to the right hand side of me. I actually have one here as well. I offer this on quotes. I do think it's a game changer between me and the next guy who we're quoting. If the customer can still work from home, we said we've got a power bank, we can plug your router in, we can plug your laptop in or your desktop, we can run an extension lead, let's say from downstairs from the power bank where the router is going to be, up to an extension lead to a mains powered PC, or even if the kids are there. We've done it a few times before. If there's kids at home, we want the Wi-Fi and we want the telly on the lounge to keep them entertained. I think that's a good little bonus we can do. Lighting will be difficult, but I think this is a future question as well about how long it takes and what will go off first, so like the scheduling. But if you've got a power bank, write it on your quotes that you've got one and you can help the customer keep powering for as long as possible. So next one, again, I don't write this down on my quotes. It's just what we do, like being an electrician. But on here, would you remove all rubbish? Never written it down on a quote because a few times we've used customers' bins. Most of the time I take it back with me in the van. It's a very good one to know. I'm lucky enough here, I've got an industrial unit with a massive wheelie bin, where we bring stuff back. I have the right certification to be able to carry rubbish in the van, because I didn't know this until I started YouTube, when actually I did a tap run with some copper and someone said you need a waste carrier license, which is £10 I think from the Gov website. So if you don't have one, try and get one, guys, because you actually do need one if you're carrying rubbish to and from jobs or back to home and whatnot. But right on that, all rubbish will be taken with us. Obviously that includes brick dust, old sockets, wiring, loads of things, all the plastic polythene that I'm pulling up off the floor, all the old dust sheets, they will all be coming with us. We'll be putting them in the bin, and that's part of our cleaning process, but it's very worth noting that down on the quotation. So the last one, how long would the work take? And normally we would say a rewire. I am quite comfortable on like sort of a 3-bed, how long the job would take. Most of the time I would say 5 days, 5 to 6 days. If we've got, so we start on a Monday morning, if we've got to come back on the Saturday morning, just to finish a few things off, then we would say 6 days. If I've got someone to help, it would change, but always note down there'll be 2 of us, it's myself, my apprentice, this is what's involved, and then we could break it down a little bit more. So we like to do downstairs socket first day, upstairs socket second day, downstairs lighting third day, upstairs lighting, sorry, fourth day, and then thrown in there is a bit of kitchen work, cooker feed, bonding, and then 5th day would be fuse board, bonding cables as well, sorry, upgrading everything that needs to be upgraded, and testing it, and then sometimes that will lead over to the Saturday, depending if things haven't worked out quite well. We've had it on the last rewire where we ended up doing just 1 room of sockets on the first day because the bricks were so hard, so we had to play catch up. Obviously it didn't help that I was off ill for a long time, but it all depends on the house and the situation, but we can give a rough guide of what it's going to be, and then at the very end we can say obviously this would be certificated, notified building control, all the appropriate information will be given to you afterwards. So yeah, that's the sort of process. I'm definitely going to change things up, but I'm going to be doing all this on my Tradify app. So Tradify is my job management app. If you guys don't know who it is, a lot of my viewers will already have this, but I'll put a link below. Tradify is a job management app that allows me to create invoices and quotations on my iPad, on your phone, on your computer, works on all different devices, but it allows me to schedule work, for myself, also for my apprentice, make notes, have a customer database. It literally does the whole thing that you need to be self-employed with 1 person or with 10 people working for you. So it's a great little app. There's a good percentage, I think it's 50% off at the moment, but I'll put the link below. Just give it a click. All I want, give it a click, have a look, have a browse, see if it works for you. But it's a cracking app and it's helped me, and this is all the information I'm now going to be putting on my quotations on Tradify for my customers. And hopefully I won't get as many questions as this guy has, but most of these will be ticked off for the customer in the future. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, drop it a like. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, because it means the world to me, it really does. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers guys.